Heather Slesser here with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension. Today, I am joined by Sarah Grotjan, the Outagamie County Agriculture Educator, to talk about the fact sheet she co-authored, Use of Disposable Milking Gloves During COVID-19. If farmers need to reuse gloves, what factors should they consider?
Well, they should determine the priority use of disposable gloves. So they need to consider the type of chore that they're going to be doing. For example, if they're going to be feeding calves, they may not need disposable gloves. They may use a thicker type of glove and wash them after every use, or maybe they won't need any gloves at all, and they'll just wash their hands and sanitize their hands after each use. We usually always recommend using milking gloves because of the sanitary process that we need to maintain during the milking procedure. So, like I said, just determine the use of your gloves during each chore that you're going to be performing.
Besides reusing gloves, are there other things that farmers can implement to conserve the use of gloves on their farm?
If any gloves are ripped or torn, that those gloves absolutely need to be discarded. They're not safe to wear because chemicals and things can seep into the cracks or the tears in the gloves and contaminate your skin. Always remember to replace torn or ripped gloves first. Always remove your gloves if you're taking a break, like eating, drinking, or using the bathroom, so you can extend the use time of gloves that way. And then during milking, if they become overly soiled or if they become contaminated by a clinical or subclinical mastitic cow, you can sanitize them using teat dip periodically through the milking procedure. You can also consider the thickness of gloves. So like thicker gloves, which are 8 mil compared to 4 mil, which are the thinner type gloves. 8 mil can be reused more easily. And however, after each use, they need to be cleaned just like any other glove. They need to be washed correctly and hung to dry, air dry as well. And lastly, you always need to wear the correct size of gloves. If your gloves are too large, during the milking process, the extended glove could get caught in the inflation because of the vacuum, and that would rip your gloves. So always use the proper size. That extends the use as well.
How do you clean the gloves that are being reused?
Well, there's about 6 steps. First, you rinse your gloves off with cool water for about 20 seconds to get most of the debris and dirt and things off. And then after rinsing, you wash your gloves with warm water and a mild soap. So you just wash your gloves with them on, just like this. And after you've washed them good and they look good and clean, you can kind of shake them off or shake the excess water off or pat them a little bit dry. Then the next step is to remove the gloves, and you try to do that without turning them inside out. So by that, you kind of pull on each finger, try to loosen it up, and to remove the glove, you can kind of work its way off your hand. Sometimes it's not that easy, but eventually, if you take enough time, you can get your glove off without turning it inside out. So then the next step is to pat any excess water off the outside or the inside of the glove if you happen to get water inside. Next, you find a drying rack or a clothesline and you air dry them. Each worker should use their own or reuse their own glove. So in order to do that, what we use is, you can see here I have a clothespin, and we label each clothespin with a Sharpie marker on this section of the clothespin here. So that way when they hang them to dry, they know which one is their glove. So take your clothespin that you labeled and you clip them onto the drying area. And you need to have the drying area be like in sunlight or where air circulation can occur. You do not want to machine dry any gloves. You want to keep them away from heat. And lastly, the last step is all workers, after they remove their gloves, should always rewash their bare hands with clean soap and dry them with a clean towel as well.
Thank you for being here with us today and sharing the knowledge about reusing gloves.